Verse number 9. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin and Supreme Lord of all living entities. You have arisen to disseminate the rays of the sun in order to dissipate the darkness of the ignorance of the universe. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Kapila Muni is accepted as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whenever Prabhu comes back, please let me know if somebody sees him. Otherwise, I'll continue. Someone else wants to read?
Should I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kapila Muni.
Sorry.
Kapila Muni is accepted as an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Here the word Adya means the origin of all living entities, and Pumsam Ishvaraha means the Lord, Ishvara of the living entities, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Brahma Samhita 5.1. Kapila Muni is a direct expansion of Krishna, who is a son of spiritual knowledge. As the sun dissipates the darkness of the universe, so when the light of the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes down, it at once dissipates the darkness of Maya. We have our eyes, but without the light of the sun, our eyes are of no value. Similarly, without the light of the Supreme Lord, or without the divine grace of the spiritual master, one cannot see things as they are. Text 10. Translation. Now be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great delusion. Due to my feeling of false ego, I have been engaged by your Maya and have identified myself with the body and consequent bodily relations. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The false ego of identifying one's body as oneself and of claiming things possessed in relationship with this body is called Maya. In Bhagavad-Gita, 15th chapter, the Lord says, I am sitting in everyone's heart, and from me come everyone's remembrance and forgetfulness. Devahuti has stated that false identification of the body with the self and attachment for possessions in relation to the body are also under the direction of the Lord. Does this mean that the Lord discriminates by engaging one in his devotional service and another in sense gratification? If that were true, it would be an incongruity on the part of the Supreme Lord. But that is not the actual fact. As soon as the living entity forgets his real constitutional position of eternal servitorship to the Lord and wants instead to enjoy himself by sense gratification, he is captured by Maya. This capture by Maya This capture by Maya is the consciousness of false identification with the body and attachment for the possessions of the body. These are the activities of Maya, and since Maya is also an agent of the Lord, it is indirectly the action of the Lord. The Lord is merciful. If anyone wants to forget Him and enjoy this material world, He gives him full facility, not directly, but through the agency of his material potency. Therefore, since the material potency is the Lord's energy, indirectly it is the Lord who gives the facility to forget him. Devahuti therefore said, my engagement in sense gratification was also due to you. Now kindly get me free from this entanglement. By the grace of the Lord, one is allowed to enjoy this material world, but when one is disgusted with material enjoyment and is frustrated, and when one sincerely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, then the Lord is so kind that he frees one from entanglement. Krishna says, therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, first of all, surrender, and then I'll take charge of you and free you from all reactions of sinful activities. Sinful activities are those activities performed in forgetfulness of our relationship with the Lord. In this material world, activities for material enjoyment, which are considered to be pious, are also sinful. For example, one sometimes gives something in charity to a needy person with a view to getting back the money four times increased. Giving with the purpose of gaining something is called charity in the mode of passion. Everything done here is done in the modes of material nature, and therefore all activities but service to the Lord are sinful. Because of sinful activities, we become attracted by the illusion of material attachment, and we think, I am this body. I think of the body as myself and of bodily possessions as mine. Devahuti requested Lord Kapila to free her from that entanglement of false identification and false possession.
Prabhu, you have Mathurapathi Prabhu, please take
Yes.
charge. Yeah. We were reading till you weren't here, so we were reading the we have read
Okay.
till 10th verse. Yeah. You can share.
Okay.
Can you share also? Try to
Yeah.
share.
Sharing. This was. Moment. This where's my. Here. Yeah, this was. I was here. Richard San Indria.
Finish
Yeah,
the
okay.
eighth.
I was with the tyrant of Mathurapathi. This was also now the point, what you read now. So can I go further, or should we stop by this? What you have read now?
11th verse, 8th verse, you were almost done, I think.
I have read moment. It was 7, but by 8 I have some.
Okay, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then in 8 translation, it is your lordship is my only means of getting out of this darkest region of ignorance, because you are my transcendental I, which by your mercy only I have attained after many births. My purport, this verse is very instructive, since it indicates the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple. The disciple or conditioned soul is put into this darkest region of ignorance, and therefore is entangled in the material existence of sense gratification. It is very difficult to get out of this entanglement and attain freedom, but if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a spiritual master like Kapila Muni or his representative, then by his grace one can be delivered from the mire of ignorance. Is this mire or mirror?
Mire.
Yeah, of the mire of ignorance. The spiritual master is therefore worshipped as one who delivers the disciple from the mire of ignorance with the light of the torch of knowledge. The word paragam is very significant. Paragam refers to one who can take the disciple to the other side. This side is conditioned life. The other side is a life of freedom. The spiritual master takes the disciple to the other side by opening his eyes with knowledge. We are suffering simply because of ignorance. By the instruction of the spiritual master, the darkness of ignorance is removed, and thus the disciple is enabled to go to the side of freedom. It is stated in Bhagavad-Gita that after many births, one surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, if after many births one is able to find a bona fide spiritual master and surrender to such a bona fide representative of Krishna, one can be taken to the side of light. So here's also very important, even so one point of this reaction of Divya Gyan and Diksha and Bhakti by the real spiritual master is that he can bring us from one side of ignorance to the other side of real knowledge, and to find even such a bona fide spiritual master, it is here written, similarly, if after many, many births one is able to find a bona fide spiritual master and surrender, so that's normally it's not a standard, so therefore we should not think, oh, how stupid can be the ISKCON devotees, they get all the bogus gurus. How this is possible? So that can be think about indirectly from these lines, that maybe in some other lives we have also have some other bogus gurus, because it is written after many, many births, one is able to find a real spiritual master. So that's not so easy even to find a real spiritual master, because so many cheaters are there. And even if we read the Putana explanation, not only the Leela in Krishna book, but Prabhupada gave also in Back to Godhead the esoteric understanding of his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, what is going on with Putana and all the other demons of Krishna book. They are also in us, in our heart. And therefore it is so difficult, because we want to be cheated. So therefore, normally it's in the beginning maybe even a standard that someone take a bogus guru, because only after many, many lifetimes we can overcome Putana and there are so many other demons also.
Which back-ordered magazine is that?
Oh, I must check it later, but this is it is from the Harmonist, from Harmonist, if you know, huh?
From Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's.
Yeah, and this is the esoteric meaning.
Srila Prabhupada say anytime these things, this.
Yeah. Also some here and there always. So this is therefore we have the Krishna book, especially on Bauma Lila. So that means the Leelas here on earth, because at first we must overcome also all the demons outside and inside. Because if we kill the demons in us, so then the birth of Krishna can become very easily, and then we see the truth and everything. So therefore, the 6 children of Devaki was killed, because only then the real bhakti can come in the heart. Because the 6 children of Devaki were in life before the 6 enemies of the soul in person. So at first, bhakti can completely grow in our heart, really on higher platform, let's say like spontaneous devotional service, only if the 6 enemies, lust, or in English, I don't know all this, lust,
Anger, greed,
illusion, and greed, and all this bewilderment or craziness, and all this, only if they are killed. It should be in the Leela, it is externally, it's also absolute truth, and then esoterically, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gave, that means we must have killed all the 6 enemies, and then the 7th or 8th child, Krishna means Bhakti, can really be implanted in our heart. So therefore, in the beginning, it's also Pancharatrika Riddhi, because we have all the 6 enemies in us. Now we must take it out by Bhagavad-Vidhi, by Pancharatrika Vidhi, and this means by Vaidhi Bhakti process on regulation and rules and regulation, very strict and regulated. And then if we follow all this instruction, Divya Gyan, given by our spiritual master, and then after the 6 enemies are killed, and then spontaneous, the real bhakti actually is only, the Prabhupada say, the real bhakti is only spontaneous devotion. Otherwise, we are on Prakrita Bhakta stage. That's not the real bhakti. But by rules and regulation, actually, this is a part of Gyan Tattva. Vaidhi Bhakti is not prema or something, but it is come from Gyan. It is written also in the books. So by knowledge, we understand, oh, we should do all this, but it's not, but because of spontaneous love, we read this, and maybe we don't want to stand up in the morning, not by spontaneous desire to go to the temple room and chant, but we are forced. But we are doing it because of knowledge, by Gyan. So, but later on, this Vaidhi Bhakti, after the 6 enemies are killed, so therefore Kamsa have killed Devaki's children, in the esoteric understanding of the harmonist, it must be like this. And then later, Krishna can take birth, means the real bhakti can take birth. And all this is given if we follow the rules and regulation and given by our spiritual master, and 100% follow everything, and then in the same time be humble, be inquisitive, render service, and all this together. And then by always hearing and service, then we can also come to the more higher taste to relish the Bhagavatam. So not only that we are sleepy by reading and only maybe little enlightenment only, or maybe little purification, but then more and more we can hear the bliss, or feel even the bliss. So, and then we are not more forced to go searching for sense pleasure of material platform. This transformation is given by Bhagavad-Vidhi immediately or after some time, if these 6 enemies are killed, and then we can relish. Before the 6 enemies are not killed, it's some fight. We have every day a fight, especially with the 6 enemies, not to stand up in the morning, maybe only 3 rounds chanting, and then we are sleeping, and then in the afternoon we get the next 3 rounds, and then we fight for the next 3 rounds like this. And then hearing Bhagavatam is very anstrengend, very difficult in the beginning. And then by this process, in same time, after some time, the 6 enemies are also killed if we become more eager. And then Krishna is very pleasing with our eagerness, Lobha, to hear about him. And then he, as super soul, he destroy all the symptoms of rajas and tamas, and then we are manifest on sattva, and then we become very happy. And then hearing Bhagavatam more and more, it's very easy then later on. And now the text 11, that you have read now. Okay, moment. So, except I have Devahuti wanted to cut the tree of material entanglement, and she found the suitable weapon in Kapila Muni. The tree of material existence is explained in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as an Ashwatha tree, whose root is upwards and whose branches are downwards. It is recommended there that one has to cut the root of this material existential tree with the axe of detachment. What is the detachment? What is the attachment? The attachment involves Prakriti and Purusha. The living entities are trying to lord it over material nature, since the conditioned soul takes material nature to be the object of his enjoyment, and he takes the position of the enjoyer. He therefore called Purusha. And then I have a note. Yeah, to cut this attachment or to cut these roots of the tree of the material world is one of the reaction of real transcendental knowledge, Divya, or also Bhagavad-Vidhi, and therefore the reaction of real Diksha and inner transformation in the heart. This getting by Bhagavad-Gita, by really properly hearing the message of a Uttamadikari, of a sadhu, a real sadhu. So then automatically we cut the material entanglement, and then we become more and more eager for doing some devotional service and to hear more and more, because we are tired of this material. So long we are not cut this tree, then we are not tired fully on of material enjoyment. And therefore we cannot hear properly because we are desiring, the lust is there. Therefore it must at first also, the six enemies again, must be killed. And then only Krishna want to take birth in our heart after the six enemies are completely killed. So therefore it is also a very important to follow all the rules and regulation at first. So even deity worship, everything in combination with chanting nicely without offenses or trying. Even only trying, it would be the second stage of the purification chanting. If we don't try, even if someone is only chanting and dreaming how I get married or what I eat later, how much I eat, and or thinking, oh, I must chant my rounds very fast, then I can get my my rest or whatever, then this is chanting on offensive chanting. And second, purification chanting would be that if our mind goes away to some material pleasure or plans for how I fulfill my material sense gratification, but then immediately after seconds maybe or very fast I get it back to the vibration of Krishna's mantra. So, and again after some time he would go on journey, our mind, to again sing something what have nothing to do maybe also with Krishna consciousness directly, and maybe even indirectly not, so that we must bring him immediately back. And this fighting to get the mind very fast back to the Sri Krishna mantra, this is actually the second stage. The first stage would be the mind goes away on journey, and after 1.5 hours maybe we remember, oh, always outside externally I have chanted, but I was not completely not here, not focused. So this is full offensive chanting. This is not real progress, cannot become, even not liberation. But if we get the second stage of chanting, and that more and more we are fighting with our mind and bringing always very fast back to the sound vibration of Krishna's name, and then even more and more purification and liberation can take place, and more easy the chanting becomes, and more tasteful. And then later on prema, that's okay, that it's some last stage. Text 12, translation. Maitreya said, after hearing of his mother's uncontaminated desire for transcendental realization, the Lord thanked her within himself for her questions And thus, his face smiling, he explained the path of transcendentalists who are interested in self-realization. And except of purport, Devahuti, by his migration, Devahuti has surrendered her confession of material entanglement and her desire to gain release. Her questions to Lord Kapila are very interesting for persons who are actually trying to get liberation from material entanglement and attain the perfectionist stage of human life. Unless one is interested in understanding his spiritual life or his constitutional position, and unless he also feels inconvenience in material existence, his human form of life is spoiled. One who does not care for these transcendental necessities of life and simply engage like an animal in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating has spoiled his life. Lord Kapila was very much satisfied by his mother's questions because the answers stimulate one's desire for liberation from the conditional life of material existence. Such questions are called apavarga vardhanam. Those who have actually spiritual interest are called sat or devotees. So again, we come always to the point to have such deep questions in our mind. And this is, we should feel helpless, very humble, tired of material enjoyment, and all this, and with such a mood to read Bhagavatam, because Prabhupada say, if someone have questions and I'm not more physical there, but everything answer and questions are in my books. So, but to get this answers to the right second by reading, we must have this special mood. So to feel inconvenience in material existence or tired of material enjoyment, very eagerly render service to the spiritual master, follow exactly his instruction, not own concoctions or not make his own rules, and then follow all the rules and regulation, not in sex, in eating, in sleeping, all together, and then by hearing all this transcendental knowledge and bhakti can very easily get our heart and destroy all the enemies, and then the bhakti lata plant would grow and grow more and more, or even faster. But if we have not such a desire even for liberation, and then even the answer, what we are reading, it's not stimulating us. Because there are so many, I give someone on the street always the books, and then someone say, oh, I have read the book. And then I'm thinking, oh, now he want to get 3 more, I think. And then he say, no, it was okay, but it's not my stuff. And I'm always wondering how this is possible. If you read such a book like Easy Journey to Other Planet, how he cannot be fully inspired to read more now, and I want to give him more, and then he don't want. So that's the problem, because he was not desiring so much, but he gets some, absolutely, for sure. He get his, he started his devotional service, but maybe after 10 years or even in the next life, he start again. This life maybe only the one book. So because he is not tired. He was not tired of material life, and therefore the answers given by the books could not stimulate him so much for desire for liberation. So it was not enough for him, the one book. So, and he must go further. Therefore, we should immediately understand this and come to this mood some other, and like you last time you said, even we can have the desire to have the desire even. So that would be also nice mood. But if not thinking about all this and only reading, not really conscious, it needs more time then to be stimulated more by these questions and answers given in the books of Srila Prabhupada by Bhagavatam. And yeah, and text 16.
So what I'm understanding, it is till text 15 till now. I don't know from text 16. Till text 15, um, Srila Vyasadeva has composed the way and Devahuti, what her prayers are. It is such that this chapter is explaining the preliminary qualification to how to approach, how to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, right? That one need to, the qualification should be that one desires getting out of the material entanglement. One should be finished off this material sense gratification, and one should be desiring how to get out of this and achieve transcendental, like pure devotional service, like what Srila Jiva Goswami is saying in 202 Bhakti Sandarbha. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is also my understanding, and in same time it gives all information what is the real sadhu, from where we should take the knowledge actually also in same time, and what is the real disciple also. Yeah, it's everything in this chapter so nicely. Yeah, this is very deep, and then if so we can see so many in temples also. There are some devotees, they come, they start to come to the temple, and after some months, after really some months, you see they are so inspired, and they have so many questions always. So it's unbelievable. And but other devotees, after 10 years, they're sleeping by the class. But they are doing the service fully also every morning and everything. But always, if you speak with them, they have you immediately you feel they have not so deep realizations. And others even maybe the beginning even, oh, they have such a realization. And immediately you come in contact with such so-called beginners, you are even inspired immediately also, because this enthusiasm infect you. But others, they can be after 10, 20 years, and then this can be why it is. And it can be analyzed directly by this chapter of this Bhagavatam. But even for such an analyze, they must have some eagerness. So to correct or to make it better. But I think some of them maybe are not thinking about how to become better in this always. Which is the next problem? What is the next hindrance? So that is this is the desire must be there, the loba. And
Would anyone else also like to comment?
Yeah.
The stage. Oh, there is some chat. Lucky Prabhu has. I have to be going. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Aruna Mataji?
Hare Krishna. No, I don't have any points right now. Thank you.
And Ranchor Prabhu, Shuddha Sattva Prabhu, Leo Prabhu. Karan
I'm good,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Karan Prabhu. Okay. So basically, the summary till now is that what we were reading in 135, CC Adi 135, where Srila Jiva Goswami Bhakti Sandarbha 202, he starts saying this is the uncontaminated devotion service. Is the objective of pure Vaishnavas. So that's what we are. It is expanding upon. Please continue, Prabhu. So why we are reading this chapter is because Srila Jiva Goswami in that same Bhakti Sandarbha 202, then he quotes verse number 25, which is going to come up in this chapter. And what I understand, I have not confirmed with other devotees or from Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Prabhupada himself, but when I'm reading little bit like this, then I start to kind of sense, and maybe devotees can correct me if I'm wrong, that when he quotes certain verses to substantiate in his sandarbhas, when he substantiates different verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is in a context where let's say 500 years back and future also, what like now past, for us past, for him future, that devotees who will be reading the Bhakti Sandarbha would be expected that the context is that they know the chapters of Bhagavatam already. They know everything, that they have been like, this is where they live. And when he quotes a verse, the context is already known to those readers. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense why he would quote tuck, 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 tuck different verses without any more explanations. So that's why, because we are not at that level. So to come to that level to understand Srila Jiva Goswami, why he's quoting, that's why I'm thinking we should read the context of the verses that he quotes. And hence, we requested Mathurapathi Prabhu to give a whole summary realization, understanding of this chapter. And we are understanding, we can see that in the beginning, in the 15 verses, 16 verses itself, this is one line of Srila Jiva Goswami writing the uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of the pure Vaishnavas, which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati writes in his Anubhashya commentary, and then Srila Prabhupada translates it. So this is the most important, like Mother Devahuti is showing us. Okay, please continue, Prabhu, from verse
Yes.
16.
Yes, now 16 was by, this is only, I have took the translation. When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from the false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress. So again, that would be actually Brahman realization or Brahma Bhuta, and there's no more hankering, no more hankering and lamenting. Hankering, lamenting is right.
Yes.
Yeah, and because one is completely cleansed of this lust and greed, and these are especially the enemies of our soul. So, and by getting this transcendental knowledge given by a bona fide spiritual master, by bona fide scriptures like Bhagavatam, and then by always hearing or reading even, this cleaning process is going on and on in every day by class or by reading itself, and then in same time doing service and all this, and especially how this impurities, especially if here we say, I feel this is my body, I am the body, and then this is mine or this is mine. Therefore, Prabhupada gave us, because if I think my money or my house is mine, this is lust. So therefore, we must take our house and make it a temple and invite others and preach in this house. And then this, my house becomes, we understand by proof that it's Krishna's house. And then we are not more attached to this house. Otherwise, we are attached and there's lust. And if we take our money for our sense gratification, for mine, this is my car, this is all my money, then we are always entangled and in jail of this I and mine, together in combination of this money or whatever item of material world it is. Because actually there is no matter. Matter is only if I think, and this is my, and then I create the Mahatattva immediately, like a cloud. And this is the cloud of ignorance. If I think this is my spoon, only even, this is my food, and this is this, and this is that. Every item, even the incense, I sing my incense, I must go to this cleaning process, means I must offer the flowers to Krishna. And I must offer the items like incense. And then if I smell the flower and all this, then immediately the lust become purified because I have understood the process. It's not mine, therefore I offer it to Krishna with some devotion. And then I can get free of this lust and more this Mahatattva or this cloud of I and mine, because matter is only when I think this is mine. And then I'm in the material world. If I think it's not mine, it's Krishna's, then I'm free of this item. And this item actually is the Mahatattva, the cloud in my own mind, my false ego. And actually, all the objects are not like we are seeing it in the external world. It's a special illusion of Krishna's material energy, but it's more in our consciousness. So if we are thinking that's mine, then we are in the cloud of false ego and Mahatattva. And if we everything offer to Krishna, my wife, my money, my spoon, my house, everything, and prove this, and then in same, because we can only do it if we start with taking some knowledge about this and how to understand this. And if every item also we are offering to Krishna, this is some reaction by reading nice transcendental knowledge, and then we get more and more completely free of all this lust and greed, because we know nothing is mine. Okay, then we can say we cannot change this, something is mine. And then we put it on Krishna, and then it's correct. We can say Krishna is mine. That's the only what we can say. Otherwise, nothing is me. Only we can say Krishna is me. And then we can more and more become free of this. Huh? And this is also by getting all this transcendental knowledge. Huh? Okay, now 17, only the translation I took. At that time, the soul can see himself to be transcendental to material existence and always self-effulgent, never fragmented, also very minute insights. So by really get the real transcendental knowledge, and by completely cleansing in the cleaning process, that means if we take the Sanskrit word, this is anatta nivritti, huh? And then anatta nivritti, diksha, anatta nivritti, and then bhajana kriya, fully engaged, eh? And then all this I and my and all this become cleansed. And then after all this cleaning process, we can see our real self. So qualitative same with Krishna, and never some separated part. So we are always connected. Otherwise, we come to the Mayavadi monism vision. Huh? If we don't get from the authorized bona fide spiritual master, so and not by the real process of getting knowledge or bhakti yoga, so other process, and maybe not authorized bhakti yoga acharya, then we get maybe a little bit a cleaning process, and then we are in the Brahman monism self-realization. And then we are thinking that we are all one and all this, and we cannot properly realize ourselves and Krishna and our constitutional position. So that's Therefore, we must also have a bona fide spiritual master, and Prabhupada gives us everything so that we cannot get entrapped in some Brahman only or whatever. So that's also especially in this Bhagavad-Vidhi process. And also Pancharatrika at the same time to clean all this lust also very nicely. Even only to chant, it's enough. But so to really chant the mantra, I think, I don't know, so Prabhupada say, you can even not really chant the mantra. We try. So therefore, even the Pancharatrika, everything is good to clean all these impurities in us. So that faster we can make progress and then understand what we are, what Krishna is, what the other devotees are, and then get spiritual initiation. And then automatically we become preacher with life and soul. Otherwise, we are not interested. There's not such an energy to preach. We are sitting and then we are more and more happy with something, but there's not a inner force. If someone get this other stage, then you cannot more do something only preaching. And then from this platform, Uttamarikari is next. So therefore, this spiritual initiation for Madhyamadkari or Bhagavad-Vidhi is so important. And therefore, we must go through all these cleaning processes, Pancharatrika Vidhi, Bhagavad-Vidhi, day and night, service, stand up in the morning before 4 o'clock, not masturbating, not illicit sex grossly, not too much eating, not this, not too much sleeping. All the rules are only to prepare us to get all this knowledge rightly, and then to be purified, and then get this bhakti, and then do all the service with full understanding what we are doing. What we are and everything would be clear then. Okay, then text 18. By translation, in that position of self-realization, by practice of knowledge and renunciation in devotional service, one sees everything in the right perspective. He becomes indifferent to material existence, and the material influence acts less powerfully upon him. Prabhupada, by his grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As the contamination of the germs of a particular disease can influence a weaker person, similarly, the influence of material nature or illusory energy can act on the weaker or conditioned soul, but not on the liberated soul. Self-realization is a position of the liberated state. One understands his constitutional position by knowledge and vairagya, renunciation. Without knowledge, one cannot have realization. The realization that one is the infinitesimal part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit makes him unattached to material conditioned life. That is the beginning of devotional service. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, one cannot engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. In this verse, therefore, it is stated, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. When one is in full knowledge of one's constitutional position and is in the renounced order of life, means detached from material attraction, then by pure devotional service, Bhakti Yuktena, he can engage himself as a loving servant of the Lord. Paripasyati means that he can see everything in its right perspective. Then the influence of material nature becomes almost nil. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita. Brahma Bhuta Prajatnatma 1854. When one is self-realized, he becomes happy and free from the influence of material nature. And at that time, he is freed from lamentation and hankering. The Lord states that position as Mat Bhaktim Labate Param, 1854, the real state of beginning devotional service. Similarly, it is confirmed in the Narada Pancharatra that when the senses are purified, they can then be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. One who is attached to material contamination cannot be a devotee. So here also, very important, that the senses, if they are in the purification process, that means Vaidhi Bhakti, rules and regulation, and if we follow this very strictly, so because if someone wants to follow it and have illicit sex or take some intoxicated items, then always he remember such a so-called beautiful feeling. And then the feeling for Krishna, transcendental feeling, cannot come. There's no bhava, nothing. Because we are always experience, we cannot give up the so-called bhava, material bhava, of sense pleasurement, especially with women or even intoxicants or what, even in accumulate money for own sense pleasurement. Even if we have all the money, it gives some security feeling. And it is also that maybe we are thinking the money is me and I'm not more in so much fear, but not because of Krishna, I'm fearless, because I have so much money on my account even. If I only think it's my money, it's also a problem. Then I get false fearless because dependent on my so-called security, the so-called maybe money or whatever I have. So this is also some feeling. So then we cannot come to spontaneous loving service because the senses are always in contact with some sense object, and this Wechsel, I don't know, and this together, this network gives us always some material bhava, and then we are doing so much service and we are wondering after 20, 30, 40 years, why no deep feeling for Krishna? If I do the deities, I decorated deities or chant the mantra, why not some tears are coming, some hairs are standing, oh, some feeling more, some. I have only my feeling if I kiss my woman, my wife, then I have some, oh, nice feeling. Because the feeling cannot go from it, they must go from material platform and then transform slowly to Krishna's service. So therefore we must follow all the rules and regulation. Only if not, someone is not following all this, then he can never have bhava or some emotions in contact with Krishna. Because he always remembers some emotions of material platform. And then this must be forgotten completely. Therefore, he said that we must be even a sannyasi. Every real Krishna conscious devotee is actually automatically even a sannyasi. Even without the danda, there is no need of this danda actually. If we give every cent of money in Krishna's service, and if we give our family, our wife in Krishna's service, means no sex for sense enjoyment, nothing of all this, and then following the nice rules and regulation of Vaidhi Bhakti, then we can come to spontaneous devotional service with some feelings, and then higher tastes start, and then everything makes sense, and then it's approved. It's so nice then, and we can go further and further, even if a little taste only is coming in the beginning. Then we know, oh, now I can forget all this nonsense sense gratification. It's very easy then. Otherwise, this is never end our fighting with all the enemies and our senses. And that would be always possible that we stop the process and go back to our non-knowing world of material bhava. So we know how we can get all the bhava. Therefore, we must really be very strong to give it up completely. Not one pinch, nothing. Not too much kissing even with women, nothing. Only like a machine, like a robot to produce children, and then nothing too much these emotions to feel the emotions with women or other things or money. Otherwise, we cannot have the emotions with Krishna. We must die. We must die materially, forget everything of the emotion, and then start a new life of emotion in the service. Otherwise, the service would be always robot service, but spontaneous, loving service with my woman. But this must be killed. Spontaneous emotions with other, especially the other sex, must be completely killed or transformed, and then it goes in the devotional service. And then we have some nicely feelings there. And then this is a perfect marriage even. There's no more dependent on some sex or that I must give satisfaction for my woman on bodily platform. There, she is maybe then on same platform, and then we can have full sex means transformed sex means bhakti pleasure in hearing together in the evening, in front of the fire in the temple room maybe, or in the nice Krishna katha, and then one would say, "Oh, give me more, my darling." Yeah, I give you more. Next verse would be read, not sex or something else. So all this, if we follow very strictly, especially this, otherwise we become very weak by the attack of the three, especially the tamas and rajas. And if they attack us, immediately we fall down. So we must be very strong. Prabhupada says sometimes that if only to following the 4 rules and regulation and every day stand up before 4 o'clock and only 16 rounds chanting, that only if some can mechanically do all this, he is a hero. Actually, he is absolute hero. And after to be such a hero of mechanical, and then more and more some really happiness can come, because Prabhupada give us the Bhakti Lata Bija. And if we cannot feel the happiness after so many years, then we must analyze always what we are doing actually. Where is the mistake? What I can do better? That should be every day, thinking.
Prabhu,
Yes,
from verse 20, no?
yeah,
It gets into the definition of a sadhu and attachment to the sadhu. And
yeah,
I was thinking, see, till now it has been cutting off the material attachment and the
yeah,
desire to. So now it starts with how to do this. So
yes,
if we can take up next week,
yeah, yeah,
this is the Bhagavad-Vidhi, which is being told to get attached to a pure devotee and hear from him with the
yes, yes. Yeah, this comes that's next. Yeah, then next we can start this topic, and then next time.
The chapter's name is what is the chapter? The Glories of Devotional Service. It is Glories of Devotional Service. This is actually Bhagavata Vidhi explained in this chapter. Okay. Anyone else any comment to give? Anyone has to say anything?
So very wonderful explanations by Prabhu actually, and I really like the point that unless and until we cut off the bhava stage from our material life, we cannot have that spiritual bhava for Krishna.
Mhm.
Wonderful, Prabhu.
You cannot have this in same time 2 emotions. It's not possible. Therefore, all the rules. Therefore, we must die. We must materially die, and after we are dead, then something stand up, and there's a new person, and this is the new devotee is created, and then we have some feeling for Krishna, and then this is a pleasure. Then we can go on after next 10 years, Otherwise, every day fighting with the senses and the enemy. How long we can do it? Every day we can completely fall down even. So therefore we should, when we are doing this, then we must follow absolute so good we can. Even if so difficult, whatever, if we are grihasta, we must. Even if our wife runs away, so what? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. But we cannot give some other pleasure. It's not possible. When we want to get the real thing. So even if the wife say bye-bye, okay, what to do? Then bye-bye. But we cannot do some illicit things. Otherwise, how we can get the real service on some spontaneous platform, and we can never attain this. That's the real bhakti actually. What we are doing, this is also to come to this platform. What we are doing actually is not the real bhakti actually. So, but we call it bhakti also, but Prabhupada say actually it is not the real bhakti. The real bhakti is after we take all this tapasya and this Vaidhi bhakti, rules and regulation. But if we don't follow even this, really, then how we can ever get this spontaneous devotion service? There would be always a speculation only. Therefore, we must really, that's what I always more stronger.
Okay, Prabhu, very good. Thank you for your wonderful realizations. Aruna Mataji, you had left for something. You have anything at the end to share before
No, sorry, Prabhu. I had another call coming, so I had to leave. Sorry.
we are going to
I
do is
could.
yeah, no problem. So from verse number 20 onwards, no, Kapila Muni starts talking about attachment to a Mahatma, Sadhu, and that's where he really gets into the Bhagavata-Vidhi. And then 25th verse is what Srila Jiva Goswami quotes, and that is a very important verse for the Bhagavata-Vidhi. And so we are going to do that next week. But till now, if you have anything else to share, please do that, Mother Aruna Mataji.
Really, I was in and out, in and out. So, but I don't have anything to share today. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I think it was a very good, like a pastime to understand how a disciple like Mother, perfect disciple like Mother Devahuti is surrendering to a perfect spiritual master like Kapila Muni for us to follow in their footsteps in terms of uh, consciousness of our mind, our state of being when we will be ready, and the way we should surrender, we should inquire. Like perfect. What Prabhu was saying, he was quoting 434 Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya updekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. It is actually in practice how she is doing it. And excellent, Prabhu. And let's meet next week.
I can say one thing that I like Prabhu's explanation about, the six vices or the bad things, that we have to give up, and after that we will come to the with detachment. We can cut the tree of this material existence, actually, material life. So I really like the way he explained. I think that was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's explanation, and the six sons of Devaki. So I think that, Prabhu, is that correct what you were saying? And then
Yes.
yeah. So and then the Lord will appear in our heart, and after these six are eliminated from our heart.
The six children of Devaki, one life before, there was 6 children of the demon Asura, or name was Kalameni.
Uh-huh.
He was cursed. I don't know, by Brahma or someone. He was cursed because of some incident, I forget. And he was cursed that Kalameni in his next life becomes again Asura, Kamsa, and in the next life, the other sons become the children of Devaki, and he killed his own sons, Kamsa.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nice. Nice understanding. And yeah, I
And this
like
is
that.
and then in this the Asuras are also in us, and we must kill them, and then Krishna can take birth as a 7 and 8 child
Yes.
only after this. So
Yes.
before we are in fighting, in Vaidibha, and then
I can add one thing, that the Balaram is the seventh one, and Balaram is the Guru. So we understand that he is the Adi Guru, and
nice.
when we accept Adi Guru, then we can have Krishna situated in our
Yes.
heart. So we need
Very,
to have,
very nice.
we need to accept uh, bona fide spiritual master. So
Yeah.
goes back to that. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
It looks so difficult cutting off all these attachments and all these things. And when I was reading this chapter, I was thinking, my God, this is so like tough. And of course, in the age when he was instructing Mother Devahuti, they were following this process, and it was kind of for perfect disciples, it is easy. But then he spoke the 20th verse, which next week we will take up. And then 20th verse, then okay. Now how it is so easy is what is described by becoming attached to a pure devotee. And that is the thing what Srila Prabhupada does and did for devotees when he came to the US in 66, and now he's doing continuously and becoming attached to him. All these things can very easily happen. Otherwise, without a pure devotee trying to like practicing devotional service and without getting attached, oh my God, it will be like lifetime.
Another thing what Prabhu told very nice was that with after so many births you get a pure devotee. So to get pure devotee, Prabhupada has come, but we should be fortunate enough that we accept. We haven't graduated enough, so that's why we have to make sure that we graduate faster. And those people who are not taking Prabhupada, we should understand how you told Prabhu that they have to take so many births or come to that level to understand a pure devotee, actually, to accept a pure devotee. So I think that was a very nice point too.
Yeah, it was in Shastra. It was not my
If,
my.
I mean, to remind all of us from the Shastra.
Uh,
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you. And next
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
uh,
Krishna,
is,
everyone.
Thank you that I could speak.
much Mathurapati Prabhu.
And
Thank you.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya cha
Krishna
kripa
Kripa Sindhu
sindhubhya
Bhati Dada
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo
Pavanebhyo
Namaha.
Namo Namo. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai.
Jai.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Leo Prabhu. Hare Bol.